Hello, Mr. Info Geeks here, back with another fascinating topic. Today, we're diving into the world of global economics, where the current scenario is a bit, shall we say, turbulent. You see, the world is grappling with a recession, a term that sends chills down the spines of economists and investors alike. So what is a recession? In the simplest terms, it's a significant decline in economic activity that lasts for more than a few months. It's visible in real GDP, real income, employment, industrial production, and wholesale retail sales. But let's break it down a bit more. Unemployment is one of the most prominent indicators of a recession. When businesses struggle, they cut costs, which often means laying off employees. This results in increased unemployment rates, leading to less spending and ultimately a sluggish economy. Then there's inflation, or rather, the lack thereof. In a healthy economy, prices rise over time, which is known as inflation. But in a recession, inflation slows down, and we might even see deflation, where prices drop. This can lead to a vicious cycle where consumers hold off on spending, expecting prices to fall further, slowing the economy even more. Lastly, there's the gross domestic product, or GDP, which is essentially the total value of everything produced by all the people and companies in the country. When the GDP contracts for 2 consecutive quarters, we're officially in a recession. Now, if we look at the global economic landscape, we'll see that most countries are battling this economic downturn. From the bustling cities of the United States to the historic towns of Europe, economies are struggling to keep their heads above water. But amidst this gloomy global picture, there's a bright spot on the map. India! Yes, you heard that right. While the world economy is taking a hit, India's GDP is growing at a staggering 8.4%. But what's the reality behind these numbers? Stay tuned as we peel back the layers of India's economic growth in the next segment. While the world economy shivers, India's GDP sizzles with a growth rate of 8.4%. In the midst of global economic unrest, India has emerged as a beacon of growth. This growth story is backed by hard data. For instance, the World Bank reported that India's GDP grew by 8.4% in the last fiscal year. This is a significant feat, especially given the global economic slowdown. Key sectors have played a pivotal role in this growth story. The information technology sector, for instance, has seen remarkable growth. With an increasing number of businesses digitizing their operations, the demand for IT services has skyrocketed. India, being a major hub for IT services, has reaped the benefits of this global trend. The manufacturing sector, too, has shown resilience. Despite supply chain disruptions caused by the pandemic, India's manufacturing sector has stayed robust. This sector's growth is primarily driven by strong domestic demand and the government's push towards making India a global manufacturing hub. The services sector, which forms a significant part of India's economy, has also contributed to this growth. With the gradual reopening of the economy, services such as tourism, hospitality, and retail have bounced back, adding to the GDP growth. The resilience of the Indian economy is noteworthy. While economies worldwide have struggled with recession and slow growth, India has bucked the trend. This resilience is largely due to the country's robust domestic demand, strong policy support, and the adaptability of Indian businesses amidst global turmoil. However, it's worth noting that this growth hasn't come easy. It's the result of concerted efforts by the government and businesses. For instance, the government's stimulus packages and reforms have played a crucial role in bolstering the economy. Businesses, too, have adapted to the new normal, leveraging technology and innovation to stay afloat and grow. India's economic performance is impressive, but what's the reality behind these numbers? We'll delve into this question in the next segment, where we'll dissect the reality of India's GDP growth. So stay tuned for some intriguing insights. The headline GDP figure is encouraging, but let's dig a little deeper. The reality of India's GDP is a complex and diverse narrative. On one hand, we have sectors such as IT and digital services experiencing a boom, and on the other, there are sectors like manufacturing and agriculture, which are struggling to keep pace. While India's GDP growth paints a picture of an economy on the rise, it's important to consider the disparities. The agricultural sector, which employs over half of India's workforce, is facing significant challenges. Farmers grapple with unpredictable weather, outdated farming techniques, and low incomes. Despite contributing a significant portion to the GDP, The growth in this sector is not keeping up with the rest of the economy. The manufacturing sector, often seen as a key driver of job creation, has been sluggish too. Issues such as outdated technology, lack of skilled labor, and stringent regulations have hindered its potential. Unemployment remains a persistent problem, with millions of young Indians entering the job market every year, but not enough jobs being created. Another critical aspect of India's GDP reality is poverty. Despite the overall economic growth, a significant portion of the population still lives below the poverty line. This stark inequality suggests that the benefits of growth are not trickling down to everyone. Then, we have the issue of data credibility. There have been concerns about the accuracy and transparency of India's GDP calculations. Some critics suggest that the figures may be overstated, which could paint a rosier picture of the economy than what truly exists. However, it's not all doom and gloom. The Indian economy has shown remarkable resilience and adaptability. It's this very dynamism that's helping it grow, even in the face of global economic challenges. But for this growth to be sustainable and inclusive, it's crucial to address these underlying issues. Comprehensive growth involves not just increasing the GDP, but also ensuring that the benefits of growth are equitably distributed. So the Indian economy is not without its challenges, but how is it still growing amidst a global recession? Well, that's a story for the next scene. Stay tuned. India's growth story is not just about numbers. There are key factors at play. In the middle of a global economic downturn, India stands resilient, its GDP growing at an impressive 8.4%. This growth is not coincidental. It's the result of a variety of factors, each contributing to the country's economic vibrancy. Firstly, government reforms have set the stage for economic expansion. In the past decade, India has implemented bold financial and structural reforms, including the Goods and Services Tax, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, and initiatives to improve ease of doing business. These changes have streamlined business operations, reduced corruption, and attracted foreign investment. But government action is only part of the story. Domestic consumption, the backbone of India's economy, has been a significant driver of growth. India's burgeoning middle class, estimated to be around 300 million, has fostered a robust consumer market. The demand for goods and services, from smartphones to housing, is on the rise, propelling industries forward and stimulating economic activity. Foreign investment, too, plays a crucial role. Global companies are increasingly recognizing India as a land of opportunity. The country's vast market, coupled with a regulatory environment conducive to business, has made it an attractive destination for foreign capital. Investments in sectors like technology, manufacturing, and retail have not only boosted the economy, but also brought in innovation and expertise. Not to forget India's demographic dividend. With more than half of its population under the age of 25, India has one of the world's youngest workforces. This youthful energy, eager to innovate and create, is a powerful engine of economic growth. It's not just about having a large workforce, it's about having a workforce that's young, dynamic, and ready to propel the country forward. These factors make India a promising economy. But what does this mean for the average Indian? India's GDP growth is a national achievement, but how does it impact the common man? Now that's a question worth pondering. Let's dive into it. India's robust GDP growth, standing tall amid a global recession, creates a ripple effect that trickles down to the average Indian citizen in more ways than one. At the forefront, this economic upswing opens up a world of employment opportunities. As the economy expands, businesses flourish, leading to an increased demand for manpower. This in turn means more jobs and better wages for the Indian workforce. But the implications extend beyond job creation. A vibrant economy also signifies a potential rise in the standard of living. With more disposable income, people can afford better healthcare, education, and lifestyle amenities. This not only improves the quality of life, but also contributes to a happier, healthier society. However, it's important to remember that GDP growth is not a magic wand that instantly eradicates poverty or inequality. The benefits of economic growth must reach every nook and cranny of the nation for it to be truly transformative. That's where the concept of inclusive growth comes into play. Inclusive growth ensures that the fruits of economic prosperity are equally shared among all sections of society, irrespective of their socio-economic status. it focuses on creating opportunities for all, especially the marginalized and underprivileged, thereby fostering a sense of shared prosperity. This inclusive approach is crucial for the overall development of the country, ensuring that no one is left behind in the march towards progress. So while India's GDP growth is indeed a beacon of hope in a gloomy global economy, it's important to remember that the journey to inclusive and sustained growth is a long one. It requires concerted efforts from all stakeholders, including the government, private sector, and the citizens themselves. Only then can the true potential of this economic growth be realized, resulting in a prosperous and equitable India.